Alright, let's step out of the world for a little bit, jump into the living word. We are in Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 1. Rewards of obedience. Therefore you shall love the Lord your God and always keep his charge, his statutes, his precepts, and his commandments. It is your obligation to him. Know this day that I am not speaking to your children who have not known by personal experience, who have not seen firsthand the instruction and discipline of the Lord your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his outstretched arm, and his signs and his works which he did in the midst of Egypt to Pharaoh the king of Egypt and all his hand, and what he did to the army of Egypt, to its horses, to its chariots, when he made the water of the Red Sea engulf them as they pursued you, and how the Lord completely destroyed them. Alright, so there's a little A by the Red Sea, and that is referring to, down here at the bottom, Sea of Reeds. And what he did to you in the wilderness until you came to this place, and what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, when the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them, their households, their tents, and every living thing that followed them in the midst of all of Israel. For your eyes have seen all the great work of the Lord which he did. Therefore you shall keep all the commandments which I am commanding you today, so that you may be strong and go in and take possession of the land which you are crossing over the Jordan to possess, so that you may live long on the land which the Lord swore solemnly promised to your fathers to give them to their descendants, a land of great abundance flowing with milk and honey. For the land which you are entering to possess is not like the land of Egypt from which you have come, where you sowed your seed and watered it with your foot like a garden of vegetables. But the land into which you are about to cross to possess, a land of hills and valleys, drinks water from the rain of heaven. A land for which the Lord your God cares. The eyes of the Lord your God are always on it, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. It shall come about, if you listen obediently and pay attention to my commandments, which I command you today, to love the Lord your God and to serve him with all your heart, with all your soul, your choices, your thoughts, your whole being, that he will give the rain for your land in its season, the early fall rain and the late spring rain, so that you may gather in your grain and your new wine and your olive oil. And he will give grass in your fields for your cattle, and you will eat and be satisfied. Beware that your hearts are not deceived, and that you do not turn away from the Lord and serve other gods and worship them. Or else the Lord's anger will be kindled and burn against you, and he will shut up the heavens so that there will be no rain, and the land will not yield its fruit, and you will perish quickly from the good land which the Lord is giving you. Therefore you shall impress these words of mine on your heart and on your soul, and tie them as a sign on your hand, that they shall be as bands, frontlets on your forehead. You shall teach them diligently to your children, impressing God's precepts on their minds, and penetrating their hearts with his truths, speaking of them which you sit in your house, and when you walk along the road, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and your gates, so that your days and the days of your children may be multiplied in the land which the Lord swore to your fathers to give them, as long as the heavens are above the earth. For if you are careful to keep all this commandment, which I am commanding you to do, to love the Lord your God, to walk, that is, to live each and every day in all his ways, and to hold tightly to him, then the Lord will drive out all these nations from before you, and you shall dispossess nations greater and mightier than you. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads shall become yours. Your territory shall be from the wilderness of Lebanon, and from the river Euphrates, as far as the western sea, the Mediterranean. No man will be able to stand before you. The Lord your God will lay the fear and the dread of you all on the land on which you set foot, just as he has spoken to you. Behold, today I am setting before you a blessing and a curse. The blessing, if you listen and obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I am commanding you today, and the curse, if you do not listen to and obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside from the way which I am commanding you today, by following, acknowledging, worshiping other gods which you have not known, it shall come about when the Lord your God brings you into the land which you are entering to possess, that you shall place the blessings on Mount Gerizim and the curse on Mount Ebal. Are they not across the Jordan west of the road toward the sunset in the land of Canaanites who live in the Arabah, opposed Gilgal, beside the oaks of Moreh? For you are about to cross the Jordan to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God is giving you, and you shall possess it and live in it, and you shall be careful to do all the statutes and judgments which I am setting before you today. Chapter 12, Laws of the Sanctuary. These are the statutes and judgments, the precepts, which you shall be careful to do in the land which the Lord, your God of your fathers, the God of your fathers, has given you to possess as long as you live on the earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places where the nations whom you shall dispossess serve their gods, on the high mountains and the hills, and under every green leafy tree. You shall tear down their altars and smash their idolatrous pillars and burn their Asherim in the fire. You shall cut down the carved and sculpted images of their gods and obliterate their name from that place. You shall not act like this towards the Lord your God, but you shall seek the Lord at the place which the Lord your God will choose out of all your tribes to establish his name, there for his dwelling place, and there you shall come to worship him. There you shall bring your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, the contribution of your hand, your votive, pledged, vowed offerings, your free will, voluntary offerings, and the firstborn of your herd of your flock. And there you and your household shall eat before the Lord your God, and rejoice in all which you have put your hand, in which the Lord your God has blessed you. You shall not do at all what we were doing here in the camp today, every man doing whatever is right in his own eyes. For you have not yet come to the resting place and to the inheritance which the Lord your God is giving you. When you cross the Jordan and live in the land which the Lord your God is giving you and to inherit, and he gives you rest from all your enemies around you, so that you live in security, then it shall come about that the place which the Lord your God will choose for his name and his presence to dwell, there you shall bring everything that I am commanding you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, the voluntary contribution of your hand as a first gift from the fruits of the ground, and all your choice votive offerings which you vow to the Lord. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, and you and your sons and your daughters and your male and female servants, and the Levite who is within your city gates, since he has no portion or inheritance with you. Be careful that you do not offer your burnt offerings in every cultic place you see, but only in the place which the Lord will choose in one of your tribes. There you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do everything that I am commanding you. However, you may slaughter and eat meat within your city gates, whatever you wish, according to the blessing of the Lord your God, which he has given you as generous provision for daily life. The ceremonially unclean and the clean may eat it, much as the gazelle and the deer. Only you shall not eat the blood, and you are to pour it out on the ground like water. You are forbidden to eat within your city gates the tithe of your grain, or new wine or oil, or the firstborn of your herd or flock, or any of your votive offerings, or your free will offerings, or the contribution of your hand. But you shall eat them before the Lord your God in the place which the Lord your God will choose, and you and your son and your daughter and your male and female servants and Levite who is within your city gates, you shall rejoice before the Lord your God in all that you undertake. Be careful that you do not neglect the Levite who serves God as you live in your land. When the Lord your God extends your territory as he promised you, and you say, I will eat meat, because you want to eat meat, then you may eat meat whatever you wish. If the place which the Lord your God chooses to put his name, presence, is too far away from you, then you may slaughter animals from your herd or flock which the Lord has given you, just as I have commanded you. You may eat within your city gates whatever you wish. Just as the gazelle or the deer is eaten, so you may eat it, but not make it an offering, the ceremonially unclean, and the clean alike may eat it. Only be sure that you do not eat the blood, for the blood is the life, the soul, and you shall not eat the life with the meat. You shall not eat it, you shall pour it out on the ground like water. You shall not eat it, so that all may be well with you and your children after you, because you will be doing what is right in the sight of the Lord. However, you shall take your holy things which you have to offer, and your votive, pledged, vowed offerings, you will take them and go to the place which the Lord will choose. And you shall offer your burnt offerings, the meat and the blood, on the altar of the Lord your God, and the blood of your sacrifices shall be poured out on the altar of the Lord your God, and you shall eat the meat. Be careful to listen to all of these words which I am commanding you, so that it may be well with you and with your children after you forever, because you will be doing what is good and right in the sight of the Lord your God. When the Lord your God cuts off and destroys before you the nations which you are going in to dispossess, and you dispossess them and settle in their land, beware that you are not lured, ensnared into following them after they have been destroyed before you, and you do not inquire about their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods, so that I too may do likewise? You shall not behave this way towards the Lord your God, for they have done for their gods every repulsive thing which the Lord hates, for they even burn their sons and their daughters in the fire as sacrifices to their gods. Everything I command you, you shall be careful to do it. You shall not add to it, nor take away from it. All right. We'll go ahead and stop right there. Oh, what an awful thing, sacrificing your children and all. Because children are a gift from God. That is the gift. One of the many. But don't forget your daily devotions. I like back in Deuteronomy 9, where God is going before us, basically to iron out the wrinkles in our path like a devouring fire. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Also Matthew 15:11, it is not what goes into a man that defiles and dishonors him, it is what comes out of a man that defiles and dishonors him. Because the tongue is the life and death. So what you say, what comes out of your mouth, can definitely happen. So try to always be positive. It's not easy. You kind of have to rework everything. But if you do your best and you try, you'll find that positive things do happen. And yes, bad things do happen to good people, but the more that you are willing to spend time with the Lord, the more that you realize that He's with us every single day, every second of the day. I declare a blessing over you in Jesus' wonderful name for you and your family. And always strive to put God first. Amen.